Hello and welcome. Before we begin, I want to ask you to take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale. Now one more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. You're here because something within these words called to you, healing for sensitive people. Maybe you've been told all your life that you're too sensitive, that you feel too much, or that you need to toughen up. Maybe you've struggled with anxiety, burnout, or overwhelm in a world that never seems to stop. Or perhaps, you're simply longing for a space where your heart can rest and be seen. If that sounds like you, then let me begin by saying this: you are not broken. You are not weak, and you are most certainly not alone. My name is Mission, and here on this channel, Powerful Mission, we speak to the hearts of sensitive souls. And like many of you, I was born with a sensitive nervous system, a big heart, and an even bigger capacity to feel. As a child, I cried easily. Loud noises startled me. I hated conflict. I noticed beauty others overlooked and was deeply affected by people's pain, even when they tried to hide it. For years, I thought something was wrong with me. I tried to harden up, to numb myself, to be more normal. But the more I denied my sensitivity, the more I suffered, until one day, I realized that what I thought was a curse was actually a gift. That realization changed my life, and I hope this talk will help it change yours. So let's start here. What is sensitivity? Sensitivity is the ability to notice subtleties, to feel deeply, and to process information on a profound level. It's a biological trait, present in about 15 to 20% of the population, and it's called sensory processing sensitivity. That means our nervous systems are more finely tuned. Like highly calibrated instruments, we sense more, we feel more, we reflect more. But sensitivity is not just about feeling pain or getting overwhelmed. It also means we feel joy more intensely. We notice beauty more vividly. We care more passionately. We intuit more deeply. In a fast, harsh, numbing world, these are incredible strengths. Still, our society often labels sensitivity as weakness. We're told to be tough, to keep going, to not take things so personally. The media glorifies hustle, domination, and constant stimulation, leaving sensitive people exhausted and questioning themselves. Let me say this loud and clear: sensitivity is not a flaw to fix. It's a superpower to understand. Yes, it comes with challenges, overstimulation, emotional exhaustion, and difficulty with boundaries. But those challenges are not signs of inadequacy. They're signs that the sensitive person needs a different kind of care, a different kind of rhythm, a different kind of healing. So if you've been walking through life feeling like an outsider, if you've been hiding your sensitivity or apologizing for it, this talk is for you. Over the next hour, we'll explore how to reclaim your sensitivity as a gift. We'll talk about why sensitive people suffer, and how they can heal. And most importantly, we'll unlock the power that's been living inside you all along. Because the world doesn't need you to be less sensitive. The world needs you to be exactly as you are, awake, alive, and deeply, beautifully human. Let's begin. Now that we've set the intention for today's talk, let's begin by understanding exactly what it means to be sensitive in this world. What is sensitivity, and why does it matter so much? To heal, we must first understand, and to understand, we must begin by seeing clearly what sensitivity truly is, not through the lens of judgment or societal pressure, but through the eyes of truth and compassion. Let's begin with the science. Sensitivity is not a weakness or a character flaw. It's a measurable, observable trait known in psychology as sensory processing sensitivity. According to research pioneered by Dr. Elaine Aron, around 15 to 20% of people are born with a more sensitive nervous system. These individuals are often referred to as highly sensitive people, or HSPs. HSPs process sensory data more deeply than the average person. This includes everything from lights and sounds to emotions, facial expressions, and subtle changes in the environment. Because of this, sensitive people often feel overwhelmed in loud, chaotic, or emotionally charged situations. But this trait doesn't only come with challenges, it also brings extraordinary gifts. HSPs tend to be deeply empathetic, intuitive, creative, and conscientious. They often pick up on what others miss. They think deeply, feel profoundly, and are finely attuned to beauty, art, nature, and meaning. Imagine this. Two people walk through a forest. One hears birds chirping. The other hears the birds, notices the breeze rustling the leaves, the scent of moss and earth, the pattern of sunlight filtering through the branches, and even senses the emotional tone in their friend's silence. That second person? Likely a sensitive soul. Let's be clear. Sensitivity is not the same as emotional reactivity. Emotional reactivity means impulsively reacting to feelings. Sensitivity means deeply experiencing emotional and sensory input, but not necessarily acting on it. A sensitive person may cry during a movie not because they're fragile, but because they are emotionally attuned to the story, the characters, and the meaning behind each moment. Likewise, a sensitive child may seem withdrawn in a noisy classroom, not out of defiance, but because their system is overwhelmed. When sensitivity is misunderstood, sadly, when sensitivity is misunderstood, it is often punished. Children are told to toughen up, teens are mocked for being too dramatic, adults are expected to suppress their feelings in favor of logic and performance. But many of the world's greatest thinkers, creators, and visionaries were deeply sensitive. Think of Leonardo da Vinci, Frida Kahlo, Carl Jung, Maya Angelou. Their sensitivity wasn't a hindrance, it was the source of their genius. Common traits of sensitive people. Let's break it down. Sensitive people often experience deep processing. They reflect on things thoroughly, replay conversations, seek meaning, and consider consequences deeply. Emotional depth. They don't just feel, they absorb. Their emotional world is rich, nuanced, and profound. Empathy and intuition. They often sense what others are feeling before it's spoken. They trust their gut and notice subtle energies. Sensitivity to stimuli, bright lights, strong smells, loud noises, and chaotic environments can feel overwhelming. Alone time becomes a necessity. Conscientiousness. They care deeply about doing things right and how their actions affect others. Creativity. Writing, art, music, dance. Their internal world often finds expression in beautiful, meaningful ways. Sound familiar? If so, welcome home. The struggles sensitive people face. Being sensitive isn't always easy. When misunderstood, it becomes a burden. Social anxiety or overstimulation, deep internalization of criticism, taking on others' emotions. Perfectionism rooted in fear of being misunderstood. Loneliness or shame for being too much. But let's flip the script. These aren't signs you're flawed. They are signs you are unseen and unsupported, and that your environment doesn't match your nervous system. A rose doesn't bloom in a storm. Neither does a sensitive soul in chaos. What you truly need. Sensitive people don't need to change who they are. They need understanding, not judgment, silence, not noise, space, not stimulation, compassion, not control. Sensitivity is not a problem. It's a mirror of the world's depth. And when it's honored, it becomes power. Next, let's explore why so many sensitive people carry emotional wounds, and how those wounds can actually point the way to healing. Ready? Having explored what sensitivity really is, let's now dive deeper into the unique challenges sensitive people face, the struggles that often make us feel overwhelmed or misunderstood. Being a sensitive person in a world that often values productivity over presence, performance over authenticity, and noise over nuance can be deeply wounding. Many sensitive people grow up receiving the message, directly or indirectly, that something is wrong with them. They're too much, they're too emotional, they're too intense, they need to lighten up. Over time, these messages sink in, and the sensitive soul, instead of seeing their depth as a gift, starts to see it as a liability. They begin to armor up, they hide their tenderness, they disconnect from their truth. But let's be clear, these wounds don't come from sensitivity itself, they come from a lack of understanding, support, and belonging. The wound of rejection. From a young age, many sensitive people are rejected for who they are. A child who cries easily is told, Stop being a baby. A teen who expresses deep emotions is called dramatic. An adult who needs solitude is seen as antisocial or lazy. Over time, the sensitive person learns, my feelings are not welcome. So they suppress them. They smile when they're sad. They hide their needs, and with that, they begin to lose connection with their inner self. The wound of overwhelm. The world is loud, fast, demanding. For sensitive people, this can feel like constant assault. Crowded rooms, endless notifications, emotional conflict, high-pressure expectations. It's not that they're weak, it's that their systems are finely tuned. Without enough time to process. This leads to chronic stress, social fatigue, emotional burnout. And worse, the belief that they're too sensitive to function, but in truth, they simply need a different rhythm. The wound of shame. Because sensitivity is often misunderstood, it can lead to deep internalized shame. Thoughts like, why can't I just be stronger? Why do I care so much? Why do I always feel too much? This shame splits them in two. Who they are, who they think they should be. The result? They wear a mask. They pretend to be harder than they are. And slowly, they drift from their truth. The wound of hyper-responsibility. Sensitive people often feel everything, including other people's pain. Without clear emotional boundaries, they start believing, it's my job to fix this. I must carry their sadness if they're upset. It's my fault. This leads to emotional exhaustion, resentment, and a loss of self. But still, they feel guilty for setting boundaries or choosing themselves. What these wounds create. These wounds don't disappear on their own. They become patterns. People-pleasing, numbness or emotional disconnection, constant anxiety, chronic fatigue, the fear of being too much. But here's a radical truth. What wounds you the most often reveals what you must reclaim. You are not too much. You were simply never held with enough care. The way forward. These wounds are not permanent. They are messages, and each one whispers, come home to yourself. Your sensitivity is not your flaw. The denial of your sensitivity is. When you finally allow yourself to be fully, unapologetically sensitive, the healing begins. In the next part, we'll explore exactly that. How do we begin to heal, not by becoming less sensitive, but by becoming more fully ourselves? Ready to unlock that? Healing is not about fixing who you are. It's about coming back home to the truest version of yourself. The one that's been buried under expectations, fear, and shame. For sensitive people, healing is not a straight line. It's a spiral. We come back again and again to the same lessons, the same pain, but each time from a place of deeper awareness, deeper self-love. The foundation of healing, radical acceptance. The first and most powerful act of healing is this. Stop apologizing for being sensitive. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not a problem to be solved. You are wired differently, and in that wiring lives immense strength. Radical acceptance is choosing, over and over again, to stand in your truth, even when the world misunderstands you. Step 1. Reframe your sensitivity. Start by shifting the story you tell yourself. From, I'm too emotional, to, I feel deeply, and that's powerful. From, I get overwhelmed too easily, to, I need environments that match my rhythm. From, why do I care so much? To, my care is my superpower. You're not too much. You've just been measured by the wrong scale. Step 2. Regulate your nervous system. Sensitive people often have heightened nervous system responses. So regulation is key. Here are tools to ground yourself. Deep breathing. Long exhales help calm the body. Time in nature, trees, water, silence. Your nervous system responds. Gentle movement, walking, yoga, stretching, soothing sounds, soft music, white noise, nature sounds, aromatherapy, calming scents like lavender or sandalwood, physical comfort, warm blankets, cozy socks, soft textures. The more often you give your body safety, the more your soul can trust you. Step 3. Set compassionate boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they're bridges that protect connection. Sensitive people often fear setting boundaries because they don't want to hurt others. But a lack of boundaries leads to resentment, depletion, and self-abandonment. Practice saying, "I love you, and I need space. That doesn't feel good for me right now. I need quiet time to recharge. I can't take that on. But I care deeply." Boundaries are not selfish, they are sacred. Step 4. Create environments that nourish. Your environment is either draining you or nourishing you. Ask yourself, what kind of lighting soothes me? What kind of music energizes or calms me? What spaces make me feel safe, inspired, and at ease? Then, curate your spaces to reflect what your sensitive soul needs, not what's trendy or what others expect. Even small shifts, a plant, a soft lamp, a quiet corner, can create huge inner safety. Step 5. Reconnect with joy and play. Many sensitive people grew up too fast. They learned to manage emotions, soothe others, and walk on eggshells. But healing asks us to play again. Ask yourself, what brings me quiet joy? What made me smile as a child? Where do I lose track of time? Joy is not a luxury, it's medicine. And play is how the sensitive soul remembers its light. Step 6. Surround yourself with emotional safety. You deserve to be seen, known, and loved as you are. Seek out deep friendships, sensitive community, gentle mentors, safe spaces where emotion is welcome. Let go of relationships where you feel you have to dim your light to be accepted. You don't need to shrink. You need to shine in the right soil. Step 7. Honor your rhythm. Healing is not about speed. It's about alignment. You don't need to hustle like everyone else. You don't need to push past your limits. You need to listen to your inner rhythm. That might look like saying no more often, taking longer breaks, having quiet mornings, working in flow, not force. Your rhythm isn't lazy, it's sacred. And when you honor it, you find your strength. A new story. You are allowed to create a new story, one where your sensitivity is not your curse, but your compass. You are here to feel. You are here to care. You are here to bring softness into a hardened world. You are here to remember what others have forgotten. That the soul speaks in whispers. That beauty is in the detail. That healing begins with truth. And your sensitivity? That is your superpower. In the next part, we'll explore how sensitivity is not just something to live with, but something that can become your life's purpose and greatest contribution. Are you ready to discover your power? Let's imagine a world without sensitive people. No deep art, no soul-stirring music, no compassionate healers, no empathetic leaders, no beauty in the little things. The world without sensitivity is efficient, but empty. It works, but it doesn't feel. It moves, but it doesn't mean. And that's why your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's an essential force in the evolution of humanity. Sensitive people see what others miss. You see nuance. You hear the emotion behind the words. You feel the energy in a room before anyone speaks. Where others skim the surface, you dive deep. In a world obsessed with speed, your depth is a gift. In a world that rewards loudness, your listening is sacred. You are the one who notices when someone's smile hides sadness, when the room feels heavy, when a small act of kindness changes everything. That's not being too sensitive. That's being attuned to life. You bring light to shadow because you feel so deeply. You've walked through your own pain. And because you've walked through it, you know how to hold space for others in theirs. This is why many sensitive people become counselors, artists, spiritual guides, coaches, writers, teachers, parents who raise emotionally intelligent kids. Your experiences, even your wounds, become wisdom. You turn darkness into insight, tears into truth, silence into safety. You speak the language of the heart. The world needs more than facts, it needs feeling. It needs voices that say, "I see you, you're not alone. It's okay to feel this. You matter." You have the ability to make people feel deeply seen. That's not just emotional, it's transformational. You have a power many don't understand, the power to change someone's life with your presence. You heal by being you. You don't need to become someone else to make an impact. You don't need to be louder, tougher, faster. You need to be exactly who you are, and stop hiding it. Because when you show up in your full sensitivity, you give others permission to soften. You inspire authenticity. You create space for truth. In this world, presence is power. Compassion is courage. Sensitivity is strength. Your sensitivity can be a calling. Many sensitive people feel a quiet whisper inside. There's something more I'm meant to do. I want to help others. I want to make a difference. I want to live with purpose. That's your soul speaking. Your sensitivity connects you to something bigger, something that wants to move through you, serve through you, heal through you. It may take the form of a business that uplifts, a project that brings healing, a story that touches hearts, a space that offers safety. Whatever it is, it starts by owning your sensitivity, not hiding it, not taming it, but channeling it. Turn pain into purpose. Many sensitive people carry deep pain, rejection, abandonment, shame, invisibility. But that pain can become your path. Your most difficult experience may become the very thing that gives your life meaning. Ask yourself, what have I healed from, or am healing from? What do I understand now that others still suffer through? Where do I naturally offer compassion? Because I've been there too? When you answer that call, you become not just a survivor, but a guide. Own your power. Let's stop waiting for the world to approve of our sensitivity. Let's stop apologizing for what makes us different. Let's stop shrinking our voices to make others comfortable. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more truth, more heart, more soul. It needs you, the real you, the whole you, the sensitive you. Sensitive people will change the world. Not by force, but by frequency. Not with ego, but with empathy. Not by controlling, but by connecting. You don't need to fight harder. You need to feel deeper. That's how we change the world, one presence at a time. In the final part of this speech, we'll talk about what it truly means to live fully as a sensitive person, not just survive. Not just cope, but truly flourish. Ready to unlock that final piece? Healing your sensitivity is only the beginning. True freedom comes when you live fully, boldly, and authentically as the sensitive soul you are. Embrace your full spectrum. Sensitivity is not just about feeling pain, it's about feeling everything. Joy that sparkles like sunlight. Wonder that ignites your curiosity. Compassion that heals others. Creativity that flows like a river. Your feelings are your compass. Your art, your connection to life itself. Allow yourself to feel deeply, the light and the dark, without judgment. Step into your authentic power. Living fully means dropping the masks and roles that don't fit. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You don't have to hide your tears or your laughter. You don't have to push yourself into the world's mold. Authenticity is your superpower. It invites others to do the same. It creates trust, love, and belonging. Cultivate self-compassion daily. Being sensitive can be exhausting. You may stumble, feel overwhelmed, or retreat. In those moments, be gentle with yourself. Speak to yourself like you would to your dearest friend. It's okay to rest. You're doing the best you can. Your feelings are valid. You are enough. Self-compassion fuels resilience. It is the wellspring of healing and growth. Build a life that honors you. Design your life around your needs and values. Work that inspires rather than drains. Relationships that nourish rather than deplete. Routines that balance stimulation and rest. Hobbies that bring joy and peace. Your life is your canvas. Paint it with colors that feel true to your sensitive soul. Connect deeply. Love fully. Your sensitivity is a bridge to others. Choose connections where vulnerability is welcomed and authenticity is honored. Create safe spaces with friends, family, community, where you can show up as your whole self. Love deeply and allow yourself to be loved fully. Be a beacon of light. As you heal and live authentically, you become a beacon for others. Your courage to be sensitive inspires those who hide their truth. Your presence offers safety for others to open up. Your story gives hope to those still struggling. Keep growing, keep evolving. Healing is a lifelong journey. There will be ups and downs, growth and setbacks. Celebrate your progress. Learn from your challenges. Keep choosing sensitivity, not as a burden, but as your greatest strength. Thank you for allowing me to share this journey with you. Remember, your sensitivity is your strength. Your story is your power. Your presence is your gift. Let's unlock your sensitivity, together, and step into the life you were always meant to live. If you found this speech meaningful and it helped you understand that your sensitivity is your strength, please like this video to show your support. Feel free to share it with anyone you think needs to hear this message, because they might need the reminder that their sensitivity is a gift. Don't hesitate to leave a comment below to share your experiences or questions. I'd love to read and connect with you. And don't forget to subscribe to Powerful Mission so you won't miss upcoming videos on personal growth, healing, and inner strength. Thank you so much for being part of the Powerful Mission community. See you in the next video.